Hi, welcome back to Future Fast, and we continue our conversation with Reni John. And I hope you enjoyed the first part of the conversation. And if you're here and you have missed the first part, I sincerely urge you, please go back, listen to the conversation. Quite interesting, and I'm sure you will like it or you will appreciate it. And perhaps that's why you are here to listen to this conversation where we're going to talk about Ready Room. So, Reni, once again, welcome back to Future Fast.
Thank you so much, Nanjunda. Thank you for having me again.
So, why Ready Room? Just jumping straight in.
Honestly, I really don't know how I came up with it, but I was for a very long time looking for a name for the company, and this is while I was like trying to do projects, and I'm like, hey, this is becoming a viable business venture, so I have to come up with a name. And I thought long and hard, and I am spiritual, quite spiritual in the sense, so I do meditate quite a bit. And I think in one of my sessions, I just came up with it and I was like, you know what? I am an R and I need to come up with this name. So it just came to me. Uh, that's the honest truth. That's how I came up with it.
Wow. Okay. All right. But seriously, I think it's got that ready recall value to it. Ready room it's very easy to get it. So I think it's wonderful.
Thank you.
And it's funny you didn't think too much for it. You're saying it just came to you. So,
It really did.
okay. All right. And you even dabbled with law, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
and uh, and uh, uh, you're not you said qualified designer or
Yeah.
anything like that. So
Yeah.
why do you choose to represent yourself as a chief design officer, right? You call
Yeah.
yourself and not a CEO. Why is
When I started this, I was the one calling all the shots in terms of design. Which is like choosing the colors. Do I have a really good knack for it? 100%. I mean, I'm really good with what I do. I should have probably done this, the law that I did, but at the time when you're just like, you're being forced to be like, okay, fine, you need to do something very studious, and your family pushes you into certain streams, and you're just like, yeah, okay, fine, I don't know any better. But I didn't know that I was very creative from a very young age. And I did know from a very young age that I wanted to run something of my own. But what it was, I did not know. And I took my time in kind of dabbling in a few things and just to find out if I'm good at them or I'm not good at them. I've always been that kind of person who throws myself out over there, and just to see if I'm going to sink or swim, that kind of thing. So for me, this stuck so well, and I knew I was good at it. Like, when you're good at something, when like a mathematician knows that they're good at, they're good at math. A lawyer knows that they're good at law, and the same thing. I know that I'm good with design. I'm good with putting things together. I'm good at having a vision. So that's why I chose to be the chief design officer. Future probably might be different. I might just be the CEO and have someone else step in. And funny you say that. I have been thinking about that lately. I'm just like, okay, maybe I'm gonna go and expanding the business and then have someone take over the design aspect. But you know, when you're trying to, this is my baby, so I had to kind of nurture it and give it the branding, or rather the designs of what we are capable of. This is the kind of design we do. We're known to be doing modern minimalism designs, but at the same time, we love to have very extravagant art or very extravagant decor pieces come into play and things like that. Be a little bit bold with things like that. So we're known for that kind of a branding, and I think I had to set that standard for the company, and maybe we'll continue with that.
how easy or difficult was it to get your first customer?
I was well, honestly, because I had real estate background, I had a network. So, when holiday homes became official in Dubai, which is in 2018, 2019, it was everyone was kind of rushing to, okay, fine, we have to set up a holiday home or we have to furnish a house. Furnished apartments were not a big thing here in Dubai before. everyone would just get an apartment or a house and then furnish it themselves. So there were a lot of private interior designers who were already doing this. But then a whole new wave came in where we had to, now holiday homes was acceptable. Hotels were not the only ones allowed to have guests. It was legally allowed for people to be staying in private residences, but it had to be registered, of course, with the DTCM, which is the authority that regulates holiday homes over here in Dubai. And they have their own conditions. They have their list of items that you need to be providing. I was lucky enough to be a part of that organization where once this was all setting up, and I saw a niche, and I'm like, hey, I like doing this, and I want to continue. So because I had the background and I happened to be at the right time in the right place, it was easy for me to build on that network. And cut to today in 2024, the network keeps growing. I keep getting a lot of referral business from the clients that we have, and we're striding on.
And how easy or difficult was it to find support from your family for this?
I think my family, I think they know I have a mind of my own. So they were just like, okay, you do you. We don't know what you're up to or whatever it is. But I think they took it a little bit more seriously when they saw how far this has come. And they were like, okay, fine. Like, she's really, passionate about this. This is her thing. And they were reasonably supportive, I would say. But honestly, when you got to run the show, it's you've got to be a lot more self disciplined and a lot more self motivated to do this. Any entrepreneur is going to say the same, that you got to have a lot of self hustle in it. You got to wake up every day and you got to pat yourself on the back and just say, you know what, you're your own guru that morning and every day.
Is there a point where you, in your journey, that you thought, okay, you made a mistake, this is not going to get big enough, or you're going to fail?
Every quarter, I think of that. Every quarter, I'm just like, okay, what is going to happen now? Am I like, you feel this all the time. But I think there's a voice in your mind where you're just like, listen, you came this far, you can't give up now. Like, you gotta keep going. And more importantly, I think your team cannot actually see you having these doubts, because when they see you having these doubts, where it's just not a good thing for them to see. So you really have to be a strong person, and you really have to be positive, because otherwise, just don't do it. If you can't have these two qualities, you're going to be negating so many other people's lives. Just don't do it. You got to be really strong. You got to be positive, and you got to let them see the vision and be like, we're holding on. It's going to be a long ride. It's going to be a rough ride, but we're going to make it. And I think you got to follow that motto every day.
You're a single founder company, right?
Correct.
So in this context, do you wish you had a co-founder where, you could have found some support? Because obviously things you can't talk to your family, because family would say, we always told you should have taken up a better job. Or your employees, exactly. Obviously, you can't be living with them, because they will obviously say, oh, shucks, should I be looking for another job?
Exactly. Have I been recently looking for investors? Yes, last year I did go out and look for investors, because I feel like there's so much that's happening that I want to tap into, and you need a lot of funding for that. Whatever we do have, our income that we generate from the business, it ends up being enough to sustain a business. The growth is slower in the sense, yes, there is growth, but to keep up with everything that's coming up, you need a lot more. Let's just say, you need to add those qualified people to the team, and you need to have a lot bigger budgets to invest in those kind of apps or to do things like that. Being a single founder and running the show, I don't have that much time that I can go into many. I do put on a lot of hats.
So do you wish you had brought in a co-founder sometime?
Did I? No, I tried that. I also tried having a partner, and I don't think we were aligned. So I think that did not work. But at this point, um, I think, only be open to an investor. I think that's what I would be open to. Not a co-founder or not even a partner, but definitely an investor.
No, but you wish you had a co-founder right when you got started, so like journey would have been much easier. Or you said you did try with a co-founder, but things didn't go well.
No, I never had a co-founder. Was
Okay,
just all me. But
okay.
along the journey, did I want to partner up with someone just to make it a bit easier in terms of like, you can share responsibilities and, grow more farther. That's the notion I had gone into it. But we had a test up period and it did not work out. So I was like, you know what, forget it. Because that other person had a lot of things going on too. So I was like, that's not going to work out. And the vision that you have for yourself and you're seeing for your company, it's very difficult to get someone aligned to that. So hence the decision was, let's just look for investors, no more partners.
And do you have a ecosystem that you can rely on in terms of being able to talk to other founders and maybe just exchanging your things itself will give you, sometimes it's just about venting, sometimes also getting some ideas, maybe I should do this or I could try that.
Yeah, I'm looking for those friends. Please get in
Oh, there
touch
is no
with
such
me.
community in Dubai.
Of course, there is. There are hundreds of people doing the same thing, but I don't think I have ever sat down and shared such information or such kind of experiences with someone else as a peer. Like, hey, this is what's going to happen. I think only shared it with my very good friends, but not with peers who are actually in it. So anyone out there who's going through the same thing, reach out to me. I would love to have a conversation and be able to share what's going on and what needs to be done and so on and so forth.
Right. And how's the investor community? I think Dubai is actually becoming quite strong with, particularly in the Web3 space. I'm in Web3, so
Yes.
I know. But otherwise, for other kind of, your business and all, how do you see the investment ecosystem there?
Funny you say that because I always like to see what's new out there, and I end up going for all these conferences and summits for just to see. So, for example, Web3, fintech, what's coming up with AI, and so on. And I always try to see how we can integrate that with my industry. So there has been quite a bit of overlap. For example, the AI, the design app for with AI, or you have ChatGPT for the social media, or you have fintech products for the processes of running a business, for example, or running your team. And now with the Web3, you're cutting out a lot of the mainstream banks, for example, or all those kind of things. So in that sense, Dubai is really good with that. It's been really good in inviting that and keeping people. It's up to you to be obviously keep yourself well informed or not. But Dubai, that in that sense, I don't feel like I have lacked out or I don't know anything that is not out there. I have been informed.
Well, who's the typical customer for your business?
Uh, we work a lot with a lot of clients who don't live in Dubai. So, for
Okay.
example, they have bought a property here. It could be commercial, it could be residential, or it could even be a building. And they'll be like, hey, we have just made this investment. We need to now start working on it. Either we will furnish it or we'll style it. So we're very good with keeping, you know, running a process with someone who doesn't live in Dubai. We're good with reporting and processing and keeping up and keeping the client updated on what is going on. That is a typical client for Ready-Room. Another typical client for Ready-Room is someone who will be like, hey, here's the property, can you just have a turnkey solution for us? We need to turn it into a holiday home, as something as small as that. So it's a quick project. Over 10 days you finish it and you hand it over. And then even smaller than that, we've even done decor and styling and staging for properties that need to be sold. So we stage them, decorate them, so they get ready for a photo shoot, and then they sell them. After that, and then it can be on the other spectrum. We're renovating the whole villa. Can you come in and do the design, maybe change it up, and in those aspects, we propose to them all the new materials that are coming into the market, for finishes and colors and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's the spectrum that we deal with in terms of client.
And how do you get your clients? Is it you did mention you're in real estate, so is it that you get your customers through the real estate businesses when they sell, and that's your connect, or do you actually do a lot of marketing where you're on the poster saying you want to make your property look better already? So, I mean, I'm just...
my For you, my feed is like packed with those kind of ads, because I think they pick up that I'm into interior design and so on. So I keep seeing those ads. Am I one of those ads? So far, no. Why? Because yes, most of my clients did come from the real estate, and they still do, from the network that I have from the real estate. But I think we have now changed that most of my clients now are coming from referrals and repeat business, because they keep on investing, or they say, or a new person moves to Dubai and they'll ask their friend, hey, who did you do your house with? And then it's Ready-Room, and they'll be like, okay, fine, let me get in touch with them as well. So we've been seeing that kind of a notion as well. In terms of marketing, I would love to market and do a lot of that. I just haven't come around to do that much, to be honest. I've not even like posted that much on social media. Why? Not because I have not had a team to do it. I've had the team to do it. They did not do it right. B, I just did not have the time to sit down and do it, to be very honest with you. So yeah, but yeah, maybe I will be doing marketing a little bit more this year, because we're taking on bigger projects, rather than taking on a lot of small ones. So it gives me a little bit more time to be placed in, certain areas.
So your business has two components particularly, right? One is it demands a lot of supply from third parties, and
Yes.
also they are project to project. It's not that you will pick up and stock them, right?
Yeah.
You buy them for those projects. And
Yes.
second thing is you perhaps also depend a lot on third party for fulfillment.
Correct.
Right. So these two are the externalities for you, where so the first part on the supply side, right? So where do these materials come from? Typically China?
You can get them from China. There's been a lot of innovation in the past 5 years, I have to say. So what you used to get from China before, completely different materials you get now. For example, marble is not even marble anymore. You get so many different types of it. Like it will it'll seal it, but it's not marble. And that affects the price. So you have a lot
Where do
of...
they come from?
You get them from China, but you also get a lot of synthetic product from Europe now. There's a lot of innovation from Europe as
Which
well.
part of Europe? That's interesting.
Like Turkey, you get a lot from Turkey.
Okay.
You get even from Italy now. They have tapped into synthetic materials, and they're doing a lot of innovations. So I always say this, so sometimes I get super supply from the Chinese ones, but I also get super stellar supply from the Italians. They are still
are
keeping
they
up.
as competitive with compared to China? Because I think China...
Now prices, yes. Now with prices, yes. Yeah, they're never going to beat China. Let's just say that they're never going to beat that in terms of prices. But they are, like, you're going to pay just a little bit more for the Italian, in that sense. And they are trying to be a little bit more competitive. Yes.
And what are the customers' preferences in this case? I mean, price sensitive customers always happy with China, perhaps.
Yeah, but it's not only China now, it's all Southeast Asia. So you have items from Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines. The trend, you have Bali. Bali is a massive importer over here for outdoor furniture, for example.
Compete with China in that sense from a price point?
Quality-wise, yes. Quality-wise,
Quality,
yes. Because
okay.
these make smaller batches, but quality batches. China, I think, does a lot of mass production, and then unfortunately, what you see in one place, everyone has the same thing. So the client who does not want to have the same thing, for example, is going to be like, hey, I'm okay to pay a little bit more, but can you give me something else? Like, give me some quality, give me some design.
Right, right. So I'm just curious, on the supply side, are there anybody supplying from India, or which part of India? I mean, if it is.
Uh, I think for India, I have some really skilled labor that is over here that really get it. So you have a lot of them in project management, for example,
Okay,
engineers who do really well, and they're super efficient, they're super competent to do the work. In terms of suppliers, from India, I think I have seen only carpets so far,
okay.
rugs, some beautiful rugs. I obviously from Jaipur and stuff like that. So the
Okay.
handwork that they do. But again, this is a very luxury. It's all luxury product. It's not the set like the mass production of what you see from China. That is
Right,
here.
right. And uh, how do you how do you position yourself in terms of what you bring to the table, right? Obviously, you're responsible for the fulfillment, but it starts with the aesthetics or the design aspects of it. So,
Yeah.
I'm just asking you from my understanding here. Typically, what happens? There are firms here who charge. There is a fee for design, and then there is a fee for fulfillment, and then
Yes.
some charge a fee for design, and they charge a fee for fulfillment, and they give a discount or subsidize the design for the fulfillment.
Yes.
So, so how is the Dubai market, or how does Ready-Room operate?
I think every project is different and has different requirements. There'll be projects who will be like, okay, fine. If it's a big project, of course, there's progressive payments. And in those progressive payments, you have different terms and conditions. Okay, now, if we're going to be doing the mobilization stage is different, design stage is different, execution stage is different. So it has its different requirements. Ready Room, how it places itself within this whole spectrum is that we have a very simple way of charging our clients. It's not very fussy. We're like, okay, we see what the project requires. We'll set out the terms and conditions, which is mostly you give us the advance. We work with the progressive payments, and on execution or handover, it'll be of that sort. But other than that, I don't complicate it too much in in that spectrum. Uh, are we between the luxury and the affordable? I think we are between that. We're not super affordable, and we're not super high end. Only because we are solutions, more of an interior design solutions company. We want to give solutions to the clients who need it. Like, if there are hundreds and thousands of companies who would go super high end, and if they, not that we cannot do that, we can do that, but our focus is more on design solutions. We want to be able
Well,
to
yeah, you want to be able to.
we want to be able to be catering to that niche of the market that want to be able to have that. It's almost kind of like a plug and play.
Right. Well, I see two things here, right? One is when you say design, and other one is say solution. So, so if it is design oriented, the captain of the ship is the design person. If you're a solution
Yes,
oriented, captain of the ship should be a project management
correct.
is the
And
thing.
that is the two
So,
things that we excel at. Those are the two things that we generally excel at, is that the project management and the design is hand in hand for us. So we set the tone with the design, and then of course the team takes over with the project management and execution after that.
and very difficult to make them work together, right? They're almost on parallel, but not together. So,
Very difficult in the sense, yes. Attention to detail, and a designer will always be like, no, do this
so
and do
who
that.
leads
And
it? Who leads it? At the end of the day, you need one thinking. It's the project management. Uh, so, where do you put the weight?
usually what happens is that the team will execute and do everything. And while I'm on top of things, um, they need to report it back to me so I can check through everything. I verify everything. So I will be in there. And if there's a detail that's missing or there's something that doesn't look good, I'll be like, change it, like before we get to the client. So
Even at
yeah,
the
last.
cost of losing some profit, you focus more on.
Sometimes yes, that has happened. Actually, no, I'm lying. Most of the times that happens. And the team will always get upset with me. They'll be like, "No, but this is not in the budget." I'll be like, "No, it's fine." But I know that is my lacking as a design person who's got super attention to detail. I'll be like, "Doesn't matter. It needs to look good, even if it's not in their budget." Sometimes, um, yeah, I'm guilty of going there.
On the second part of it, right? On the execution side, when since you depend on the third parties, uh, what are the biggest challenges in terms of working with third parties and fulfilling our execution? Because no matter what they do, it is your name at stake. It is ready room at stake. So how do you make sure that no matter who the third party is, but ready room holds the
It's a
fort?
challenge. It's a super challenge, I have to say. Um, because obviously, everyone has their reputation in the market, and sometimes you will hear something, sometimes you don't hear anything. And most of the times we work with teams who need to have good skill. A thousand situations can happen, a thousand things can go left, and whatever it is. But you're right, Ready Room's name is on the line. We are the ones who've taken the project, and we have to fulfill the project. We have to finish it and deliver. um, I think you have to start building trust. And I do take certain measures into account to make sure people do stay. Because, yes, have we had experiences where someone has not fulfilled their end of their contract, and we've had to, bring someone else in to finish it and stuff like that. But now I have some stricter measures that I put in. And then, of course, after a certain amount of period, the teams have worked with us, or people or suppliers have worked with us, they also build a trust factor. So, in sense, in the community starts to build the trust and the flair, that, and also alignment in how you work. For example, your delivery time, the quality of your product, the professionalism in your invoicing or anything like that. All of that needs to align for everyone to work together. And Ready Room, in that sense, has been very good with cutting out what doesn't serve in our alignment. And if the supplier is good and can work with us, then they have stuck on, like, now maybe 4 or 5 years with us.
Well, you also mentioned that you dabble in crypto, uh, right? I think you did mention in our
Yes.
first part of the conversation. So,
Yes.
uh, and also you work with customers who have just invested in the property, not necessarily live in Dubai. So, do you also actually take payments in crypto? Uh, how how do you approach this? Or is crypto just an investment for you occasionally?
Not for me. It's just a personal kind of a side hustle that I do. Also, trying to keep up with things, and also it's a little bit of a. I would say I like it. I do like it. I like to learn a lot more. I like to hear
But
what's
do
going
you
on.
accept payments on crypto for your
Not
business?
yet. Not yet. Not yet. But what does happen, have I had clients who have like sold their crypto to make payments for certain projects? Yes, I've seen that happen. But we cannot as yet accept payments in crypto as a business.
Well, India, uh, very late 2023, SEBI approved RWA, that is real world asset tokenization. So, and you're in Dubai. In fact, Dubai has perhaps better compliance, if you will, from a point of not really tokenization, but on the crypto asset investments and such.
Yes.
So you also mentioned that you're looking at raising money for funding or investments for your own business. So do you see or have you considered tokenizing your business and raising funding through tokens for Ready-Room? Have you thought of that?
I have not actually thought of that. That's a good suggestion. But I think I would only dabble into something that I know 100% about. And to be honest, this is still an evolving idea, tokenization here, even in Dubai, and the regulation of it all. I'm not too sure what really is, how regulated it is. So, do I want to get into something that I know is not, it might just be too much for me to handle at this point? No, I don't. I would rather do it the more old generic way, which is like, okay, we get someone who is interested. We look at the future of how we can get there, but the core of the business has to remain the core of the business, which is design and solutions. So yeah, no.
Well, you will always have a challenge, right? In the traditional investments for your kind of business will always be more of a project financing because they may fund project to project because that is where the money is sure to come. I mean, rather than a
Yeah,
blanket funding. So that is
sure.
going to be a limitation for you, even from the point of where you are looking at capacity building, having qualified team, resources, expansion. So, so, so the traditional investment obviously will not be an option as much uh, as uh, 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 tokenized investment. So,
I agree with you, and I have faced challenges over there because the last time we went for an investor, there was an investor meet that I had gone for, and while the idea was quite viable to them that I was presenting, they were more interested in the other side of like things that had to do with AI, data management, and data mining, all of that, all of that. So yeah, there are certain challenges over there that the
so
investor
how
mentality is
exactly?
not matching.
But how exactly are you using technology in your business now currently?
So, for example, we have fintech products which are not like their cards. For example, I give to my team where they can spend on projects and things like that. And these are not by the banks. These are by a certain fintech company. They make these, solutions for money management between teams and projects. So all the and it kind of gets streamlined with your accounting. So I'm using it in that sense. Um, that is one example. Another example is like we're trying to obviously create. We're coming up with something that is kind of be a little bit. I can't say right now, but we're trying to work on something that is going to be a little bit more inclusive of AI. Um, and then suggestive rather with the AI in terms of design and solutions that you will have or you could have.
Okay. And what are the uh, challenges that you see, in the coming years for Ready Room?
Challenges that we see a lot more. I think for us, because we're so project sensitive, that we get really divulged in projects, and yeah, you're so engrossed in its attention to detail and design. uh, you kind of lose the thing of like, oh, hey, I need to be on social media, I need to be doing a lot of this marketing and so on and so forth. So, and cut to like there are too many companies that are popping up left, right, and center over here. And the younger the kid, the more they know about how to do this and how to be more present online and so on and so forth. So the challenges I think we face is in that sense, um, where we need to be a little bit more, out there in terms of social media and social media presence and marketing presence. I don't think we've done enough to get myself out there and keep up with that. We're just so engrossed in doing the project that we are. We've not been able to do that. So I think challenges are there. Also, I feel the challenges that are going to be coming up is getting, lately I've seen that getting a team, to build a team. It's very difficult to keep these young ones. They don't want to stay, like they want to experience life a lot more, and they have these goals which are very short-lived. So it's difficult to have someone be like, okay, fine, you've worked and you build obviously a relationship with someone once they stay a year or two with you, and then after they're like, hey, no, I want to go to my next venture. But that I think is a little bit challenging at the moment. And Dubai encourages a ton of um, movement in terms of people coming here, transiting, like you said, and then moving out. So people do come with that mentality, and that is why another challenge is like retaining the team and building a team from there onwards, who want to be, a part of the team, the growth team. I want to, like, right now we're in our growth phase, and I want to set a team which is going to be part of the growth team. We want to be excelled at for over the next 7 years, and so far I've only had two people who've stuck on. The rest have just been there for a year or two and then they leave. So it's a little bit disappointing because you kind of have to start from
So
scratch.
how do you reward for those who stay with you? Are they
Oh,
staying with you
definitely.
because what kind of uh, uh, growth or what is it that you give them that motivates in your perspective?
I do motivate them with, of course, increments and, of course, benefits, in the sense that if they want to grow with the company, they need to learn a lot more. So I do invest in a lot of uh, growing, a self-learning kind of things. They can go online courses, they can push, learn a lot more. So I invest into their growth in that sense.
And do you sign contracts with them that now that you're supporting whatever certification that they acquire at you from the company's cost, that they need to stay for?
Yeah, of course. Like
Okay.
them, like, okay, if I'm doing this for you, you guys gotta stick on. Like, I'm not gonna do this for like
No, is
nothing.
that a contractual binding, or it's just that you trust them that they will? How's that?
It is contractually, it is mentioned in the
Okay.
labor contract. But in this sense, sometimes the labor contract is a distance away in time, and by that time we do have a verbal agreement, or we do sign a side agreement and saying that, okay, fine, make sure that this is an understood thing, that you will be sticking with the company, because it is in their best interest and my best interest as well,
Right.
for them to stick with us.
Reni, you've been fairly cosmopolitan in your approach or outlook, coming from our first part of the conversation, right? But is there a bias uh, because of your experience that you prefer these nationalities to be working for you because they tend to stick more, or these are the
Mm,
nationalities who, I mean, for whatever reason, but is there something like that? I mean, it's more a 30,000 feet, nothing personal about it, but do you have
yeah.
that kind of a?
Um, I think, no, in design, it always comes to someone who has talent and who doesn't. So if
No, but
they come up to me and they,
see, I think as much as talent, but it is also, see, there are certain nationalities are more given to some sense of aesthetics, very
yes,
intuitively, organically, the way the system or the culture is. Right? I mean, you see more beautiful things around you. You are more tuned to seeing beautiful things, or appreciating
yes,
or recognizing it.
yes.
But for the
I
rest, one has to work on them.
Correct. You're right. And there's a ton of them that come here who don't know, who are not very exposed. So they don't know what Dubai culture is like, what's the Dubai taste, or maybe they've not worked with different nationalities before, so they don't know what to put into that project. And, the materials they maybe have back home is not available in Dubai. So what do you work with? What are you going to suggest? Um, and in that sense, I think it comes to your discipline. How much are you going to expose? You need to go out there and just, everything is available online, to be honest. The more you research and the
So,
more
any
you,
favorite nationalities? I'm not trying to put you in difficulty
I'm not
among
going to
your
say a favorite
employees.
nationality. I don't think it's fair to say. Are there certain that I would
Okay, maybe
definitely not?
I'm not going to ask you that are there people you don't want to work with, right? But you
Yeah.
prefer to work with, if you have to say.
Uh, no, actually, I
You
don't
can
really
talk
have
about 3 or 4 nationalities rather than 1 or 2, so that you actually spread if you want.
who would I like to work with? Who I like to
Right,
work with, right?
right.
Um, okay, definitely because just the experience I've had, I have good experience. Oh my God, this is gonna sound now I'm thinking about it in my head. Um, Iranians come with really good
Okay.
creativity. They do come with good creativity, and I love what I've seen in terms of design. Egyptians come with good creativity. They're very good with their drawings. Um, and suggestions of they're good with numbers, they're good with the engineering of it all. Of course, Pakistanis, they are good with coloring. They're good with colors. Like for some reason, I don't know why, but I've seen that they're very good with putting colors together. Indians are again very good. What I have seen so far, they're good with streamlining project management, all of that. You know, they're very good with all of that kind of stuff. And I've also worked with the Romanians. I think they're very nice people, very simple people, hardworking. Indonesians, no, I had a Malaysian girl. She was really lovely. Unfortunately, for some reason, she had to leave, but really lovely people. So I think, but I have to say the common thing with all of them was that they were super young. So they were like, just venturing out. So they're already so exposed. They knew a lot more. They had a lot to bring to the table because they were like, hey, I have something new. I saw something over here. So should we put this in, or should we do this, or should we do that? So the common denominator, all of them was that they were young and they were exposed. So in terms of design, so that was a really good thing. Some older people I've had, they kind of stick to the norms, which is kind of boring for me. So I'm just like, nah, I'm not worth it. But my my favorite person is my assistant, and she's Filipino, and she is absolutely my best friend at work. She's super hardworking, and I
So she's
completely
one of
respect her.
those 2 people who are with you for the last 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
who's the other person? Where is she from?
The other person is from Pakistan also, and she is a little bit newer than the other one, but oh, she's also been really good. She's been extremely good with project management and the design part of it. Also very young, but very headstrong, and I see a lot of myself in her. And I think that's how we aligned. And I said, you know what, that's it. You got to come on board. I'll give you the exposure, and I'll teach you a lot of things. And she's learned quite a bit so far.
And how do you hire? I think you're consciously hiring only women, right?
Honestly, initially it was not like that, but
Okay.
over time I have
It
understood
just
that
became so.
it just became like that. And not that I wouldn't hire guys or anything. I would still hire. Like my execution team is all men, so that's a different thing. In the office and the design is all women. Um, so we do work with them all the time. Um, but no, it was not a conscious decision. How do I hire? Is I do go through a process of like a 3-month process, and I do test them out and see if they're aligned with the process, the speed, the discipline, um, the responsiveness, or whatever it is. There are certain things that you do, but it's a 3-month process for sure. I don't initially I used to do very quick and hires and quick fires, and I learned that was a waste of time. I've now learned that you need to take your time to see if this person belongs with the company or not, because you're gonna invest in them. You're gonna pay for a lot of things for them, so you gotta be sure that this is the person you want on your team.
Well, what keeps you awake from a point of what scares you most? That ready room is going to be not ready at some time. So if you think,
Every project is a heart attack away. It's like a minor heart attack away, because every project we're doing is like something goes wrong all the time. I mean, in the projects, supplier has not come in, the material is not right, the color that got imported was completely wrong. Something goes wrong all the time. I think, and that just keeps making you a stronger person, a little bit more calm, and a little bit more patient. Like, listen, I got this, I'll sort it out. So that is what wakes me up. I'm like, okay, what's going to happen in this project? Because every client is like got a different temperament, and you kind of have to like manage everything. So, and being like, I'm not going to say we're the big companies, we're obviously one of the smaller ones. We have a lot more to prove in terms of service and professionalism. So that's what keeps me up. I'm like, oh my God, okay, fine. Cannot at any cost have Ready Room's reputation get affected.
Well, do you think all the stress has been worthwhile?
I think so. I think so. I think I think I was born to do this, so I don't feel any different. I'm like, if I wasn't doing this, I don't know what I'd be doing. On to be very honest with you, I think I'd be running another person's show, but I'd definitely be running a show. So I think I can handle the stress. I've learned how to cope with the stress. It's not an easy thing, and I learned that meditation is good, working out is super good. And you kind of had to have a plan. You got to have backups to know where you're going and what are you doing.
So, if you talk to your younger self uh, about starting up, so what would be those three advices for her? To the young Reni,
Um, Me too.
what would
I'm
you
ready. I
advise?
would say just keep holding on. It's keep holding on. Keep going where you're going at, and it's gonna happen for you. Just keep being determined and keep at it. It's going to happen, and you just have to have the discipline and keep. Don't ever think to give up because every day is a new day. So one day you might have a bad day, but the next day is a new day, and you can definitely do better the next day.
Uh, See, as entrepreneurs, we keep coming across so many celebrated entrepreneurs, right? The billionaires and the like Meta, Facebook, TikTok,
Yeah.
right? And then uh, you're an entrepreneur, and there are millions of such entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Uh, so, where do you see what? Uh, how do you see that? Uh, uh, that being this entrepreneur who's fighting, or even with the fear that every project can give you a heart attack, to
Yeah.
getting to that super recognition. Do you have such aspiration that someday the world will recognize Reni John to be beyond any brand, or is that Ready Room that you see as your masterpiece that world should recognize? Which one is that?
Definitely Ready Room to be the masterpiece. I don't like to be in the limelight. I'm not a limelight person. I like to be in the background. So definitely Ready Room to be the masterpiece that I have created and will bring forward.
Uh,
I think that's what it's
uh,
going
well, not trying to be negative, Reni, but among all the artists uh, today, there are so many masterpieces across the globe in so many museums. But there was only one Picasso who became a millionaire in his own lifetime,
Yes.
right? And in a way, it is true for uh, millions of entrepreneurs, right? That every country has millions of entrepreneurs, but there are few people who become that. So, so
Yeah,
how
you're
do you
right.
want to see in your own lifetime? What should it be that you will be regarded with?
Um, Okay, so Dubai has a lot of these families who have children that they can support, like you have them in India as well, and they will have a lot of family support financially as well. And they don't need investors and they don't need, all this outside, help to bring them forward as an entrepreneur. But I feel like entrepreneurs like me who have had to go through it from scratch, you learn so much more, and there's a bigger fight in you that you keep fighting every day, and it makes you a different person. And I think that is the difference that will bring you forward or take your company forward than not. There are a lot of them that come with a lot of financial help, and they probably don't even need to work a day in their life because they know they have that helping, they have that backing, and they'll have a ready setup. For example, be like, hey, I'm just going to put you on the top, and here's a whole setup. And Dubai is a culture like that that does promote a lot of the nepotism, if you say, in that sort. Um, but the actual entrepreneurs who have come and who have started from scratch, much alike the businessmen or the businesses that started ages ago in Dubai and are now thriving because of that vision, are going to be the same. They're going to end up being the Picassos of their own skill. So I don't see that being any different, because it's the fight in you that's going to take you farther. It's not going to be who you are, where you come from. It's definitely going to be your vision that's going to take it. And that's with every other entrepreneur. That's with every business and every company.
Well, wonderful. So, as a closing remark, is there something you want to tell among our audience and listeners, if they are already entrepreneurs or want to be entrepreneurs? Is there something that you want to leave a message with?
I think I would say that everyone wants to become an entrepreneur, and while it seems easy to have the tagline, be prepared for the ride of your life, because it's going to take you everywhere. A lot of the times you're going to go through a ton of, you have to be just so emotionally strong and mentally strong to go through this ride. So if it's not going to be that, then, it's maybe better to be a part of the team of an entrepreneur that you can do a co-vision with. But yeah, it's definitely something that if you start, hold on and keep striding at it every day. You can't give
Wonderful.
up. There's no room for sleeping on it. There's no room for that.
Right. Well, you heard Reni John. You heard what she does and why she does and how she does, and you also heard what it takes to do. So do share this across your community, your connects who want to be an entrepreneur, who would appreciate this. And thank you for being part of this conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you have not yet subscribed to Future Fast, do it now. And come back soon, because we are going to have some very interesting future conversation
Yes.
with Reni. Reni, once again, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much, Nanjunda, and everyone, to hearing all your comments back and questions and having a conversation. Keep the conversation going. Thank you again.